Okay. Oh, sweet. I don't know. That's weird. Yeah, I think the green screen camera was like bugging out and it wasn't really working when Nick was here, but for some reason it's working now. I think it was because I was sitting on that side of the couch. Like I was sitting over here, so I was trying to adjust accordingly. That might have been what was it. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Who knows? Yeah. Who knows? Anyway, let's see if I'm live. Cool, excellent. I am. Alright, so we're back on Attorney Chronicles after 2 weeks. Well, I guess not 2 weeks, I didn't stream it last weekend. But yeah, we finished up the second case last week. I mean, last time we finished off the second case, and we just started the third case, so we're in the midst of getting that started. And apparently, we're in London now, and we have to do our first trial to prove ourselves. But the person on trial is more or less on death row, so if we fail, we don't get to become a lawyer, and the person gets killed. So that's fun. Yes. Yeah, and I believe he should show up straight away. Yeah, this is the guy we gotta defend right there. Don't get me wrong, fella. I'm not giving you no strings attached. I'll be wanting you to do something for me. Oh? To be honest, 'tis a little embarrassing. The trial is about to begin, you see. It's for me good self here. I'll be in the dock. So now, what I want you to do is come along with me and stand there beside me. Officially, you'll be my lawyer, but that's just a little detail now. Oh, well, the thing is, don't worry about a thing. All you have to do is stand up there next to me. Nothing more. Well, he expects us to not defend him. Or he wants to get killed, or... Otherwise, you see, the trial is going to start without me having any kind of representation at all. So it is true. The Lord Chief Justice wasn't just making it all up. I'm terribly sorry to have to ask this, but does this mean you're the defendant in this trial? Bluster and blazes, do yous not know who I am? Me, one of London's biggest names, or is this the defendant? Or the guy on the other side? No, sorry, we've only just arrived in this city, you see. Oh, he wouldn't be in the same place, right? I'm not sure. Do we all go in the same door, or...? I see. I suppose it isn't altogether impossible. Well, just next to Hyde Park, in the center of London, there is another beautiful park. Sorry, a park? What? It's called Misguided Park, full of blossoming flowers in the spring and singing birds and whatnot. I donated to the city, so I did. Ah, an entire park? In central London? A city of smiles, that's my vision for London. There's nothing Magnus McGilded wouldn't do for the city and its choir old people. Seems like a pretty good guy. Why would he be up for murder? That's amazing. I mean, really extraordinary. But... now they've had the gall to say I'm good-for-nothing criminal. Me, Magnus McGillen. What's the matter with London police, I ask you? Alright, don't pass out. Mr. Naruhodo. Perhaps now would be a good time to introduce ourselves while the gentleman catches his breath. Good idea. Mr. McGill, the thing is, we're actually here in London to study British law. We're law students on the way on the study tour from Japan, you see. Ah, ah, ah. So, if you don't have a lawyer for the trial yet, and you'd be happy to put yourself in our hands, then we'll do that. Now, what was after I saying, you daft idiot? I've given you 1,000 guineas to stand up there next to me, haven't I? Well, yes, but I wasn't really offering just to stand up next to you. I guess it was assuming that you just wanted somebody just to represent him and not actually help. Oh, I think I see what's going on here. Sorry? I know what you're thinking. There's a chance if a fellow claims to have more money than the Queen. But if that's true, then why the blazes can he hire the finest lawyer in all of England? Because he did it, that's the only explanation. Oh yeah, that's right, he's apparently super rich, so why can't he just get his own lawyer? Well... Exactly. Yes, exactly. What now? Well, like you said, if you have all that money, but you don't have anyone to represent you in court, there's no other logical conclusion that you're guilty of the charges. Plain and simple. Well, you call a spade in the East, you do? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean any offense. I still can't express myself very well in English, you see. And I'm never sure what's acceptable to say and what isn't, so... Is that so? Because you sound fluent enough when you're telling me what a blackguard I must be. A blackguard? I'm terribly sorry. I can't say that I blame you for thinking it, fella. It is a little strange, to be honest. Why, you don't have a lawyer, I mean? That would be the fault of the Reaper. Sorry, did you just say Reaper? Aye, the Grim Reaper of Bailey, Lord Berg van Zeeks. He's the prosecutor. Oh, okay, so... Obviously this is the person that we're representing. The prosecutor is Grim Reaper? When Van Zyke stands for the prosecution, they call the accused these sacrificial lambs. And to this day, in every single trial in which he's been prosecuted, the accused has been damned. What? So it's wretched, the desperate situation. So he's reached a desperate situation where there's no one willing to stand up in the defense against the fella at all. Oh, okay, so literally any lawyer that knows his reputation is like, no, man, I'm not doing it, I'm not going to lose. So he could afford a lawyer, but no lawyer has the balls to stand up against him. You could say he's a living legend of the Old Bailey. Goodness, Lord Berg van Zyks. He must be an exceptionally talented prosecutor then. Talented isn't the word you're looking for, madame. It's cursed. Cursed? What on earth? The defendant is summoned, and is counsel. Please make your way into the courtroom. The trial is about to begin. He is cancelled. That would be me. Oh, 'tis time. Well then, fella, don't let me down. But I don't know anything about the case. You haven't told me what happened. Until you showed your face here. I made up my mind, so I had... Sorry? I decided to have to defend myself in there. How could that have worked? Or you did the same for yourself, so... But then you made an appearance, student of law, wouldn't you know? And 'tis no accident, I can assure you that. 'Tis fate. So don't get cold feet now, please. I literally know nothing about the case or the man who stands the accused. In fact, the only thing I do know is that I can't turn my back on him. Mr. Naruhodo. The man has no one. He'll have to stand alone in that courtroom armed with nothing to defend himself. Yes, something that Kazuma would never allow to happen. Counsel to the defense, what are you doing? If you're late for the start of the trial, you will lose your right to stand. I'll be right there. It's happening then. My first trial in a British court. I hope you're watching over me, Kazuma, because I have no idea how I'm going to manage this. It reminds me of a video that I saw. I think it was there was a guy who was supposed to go to court, and apparently he missed his court date multiple times. So police literally came to his house and like let themselves in, and he's like, and then they come into the living room. And they see him like sitting there like playing video games. And he's like, "Oh, can I help you, officers? You miss court. You're late. You missed court." He's like, "Oh man, I'm playing 2K. Can you come back later?" It's like playing 2K basketball. So literally had to just pick him up and drag his ass out. Alright, so who's the judge? Who's the prosecutor? Who's this? Who's that? 18th of February, 10 a.m., the Old Bailey courtroom. Pretty fancy. Oh, we got a panel as well. This is a first. Huh. Yeah, there hasn't been a jury at all in previous games. Huh. So this is the highest court in Great Britain, the Old Bailey. The centuries of history in this place is palpable, isn't it? So it's different to the Supreme Court in Japan. It feels both imposing and serene at the same time. The atmosphere always makes worlds redundant. Whatever the country, determining a person's guilt or innocence is always a solemn affair. May I say something, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, yes. What? He's pissing himself. Your eyes look ready to pop out of your head again. I know, I just can't help it. Vampire. Nice. Good looking judge. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are here today to determine the guilt or innocence of Mr. Magnus McGilded. I now call upon the counsels for prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is fully prepared. That must be the Reaper of Bailey. He does look fully prepared to dispatch his next poor victim to the underworld. Counsel of the defense, you appear to be Eastern. Do you speak English? Huh? Oh, yes, of course, sorry. But he asked if the defense was ready. And I couldn't be further from ready if I tried. A little bit vampiric. Those eyes please me. Nipponents? Okay. They shroud your fear, your doubts, your trepidation. They run wild, clinging to some phantom notion of courage. The quintessential look of a sacrificial lamb. A cold shiver just ran down my spine, all the way to the tips of my toes. Now, Mr. McGillard. Yes, my lord? You stand accused of murder, a capital offense. You could be sent to the gallows if found guilty. Are you quite sure you wish to entrust your defense to this foreigner? As I've always said, my lord, 'tis a grand thing to give opportunities to the young. Even if the fellow is a student from some little island off of the Far East. Is it not the British way to ignore the dangers yourself and give those less fortunate a fair chance? I like to think that acts of chivalry do great British Empire proud. Listen to Mr. McGillard. What a fine gentleman London has him. Did you hear that I donated £5,000 to the government the other day? Mother, please may we go play in Mr. McGill Park? It seems as though everyone in the public gallery is firmly behind Mr. McGillard. That's definitely welcome news. He certainly has a way with words. I'm surprised he couldn't convince anyone to defend him. Eloquently put, Mr. McGillard. The most laudable sentiments. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm sure I need hardly to remind you that you 6 members of the public have been selected for your impartiality. Are you ready to proceed? So we got... So it's 3 guys and 3 girls. Alright. Makes sense, I guess. Yes, my lord. If the task is to send the rotters to the gallows to where they belong, I'm more than ready. The manner his lordship says we all should always dispose of rubbish promptly. Naturally, I agree. Calling my client trash. Ha! Any criminals here will be soon wishing they never set eyes on me. Is she mute? And he's a drunk? I feel a chill. Oh, don't mind me, my dears. I'll just be getting on my knitting. Must finish these mitts for my grands. That's, yeah, glad you're paying attention, Lady Quality. Ah, Mr. Naruhodo, those people are... The jury, yes. That's something we don't have in Japan yet. That's right, I've only ever read about it. But here in Great Britain, the court's final verdict depends on the opinions of the 6 jurors. Interesting. Yes, I wonder how... Because I wonder if I have to convince them myself as well. How's that going to work? The judge passes the sentence according to the law, but the jurors defending the guilt based on common sense. So the defenders ultimately judge from 2 completely different points of view. But how exactly do the jurors give their verdicts? That I don't know, but I'm sure it'll become clear as the trial progresses. Yes. Yeah, I think it's, they have to unanimously agree, right? I think it's that classic Simpsons episode where Homer gets put on jury duty, and he disagrees on purpose just so they can get laid over on a hotel for free. There's multiple times room service. I'll have 2 more steaks and bring up 2 more pillows with mints on them. Prosecutor Van Zykes. My lord. It's been a number of years since we've seen you here in the courtroom. I thought you'd renounced your fame. I'm known as the Reaper of Bailey, my lord. Infamy rather than fame, I should say. But yes, 5 years have passed since I last spread my wings in this capacity. So, what brings you back? Is there some change of circumstance of which the court should be aware? I leave that to your imagination, my lord. So the Reaper has been out of action for 5 years? Why do you have to choose today of all days to make a comeback? Don't lose heart, Mr. Naruhodo. As your wish, sir. The court nevertheless welcomes your return. Now then, opening statements. I think a summary of the case, if you please. Certainly, my lord. As your lordship is aware, this case is of overwhelming simplicity. We must be the only ones here who aren't aware. Yeah, exactly. Like, we don't know, like, what is on trial. Like, it's on trial for murder, obviously, but what kind of murder and how was it done and whatnot. The incident took place in the late evening, 3 days past. The hour was some minutes after 10. The victim was a maker of building bricks, known as in the community as thrice fried mason. Sorry, thrice? It means 3. He was a very accomplished craftsman. The bricks he fried were fired, were said to be almost indestructible. I bet that's going to come into play later, right? He was killed. He was killed by this brick, this shattered brick. No, that can't be possible. These bricks were supposed to be indestructible. How could that take him out? Some shit like that. Oh, never mind. The victim's corpse was discovered in an omnibus in service of the streets of London at the time. The dagger that had been thrust in the victim's abdomen is believed to be the ultimate cause of death. Here in the autopsy report from the investigating medical officer at Scotland Yard. Thank you, counsel. I shall accept that and the photograph as evidence. The autopsy report has been entered into the court record. The photograph of the crime scene has been entered into the court record. Can I check them now? I can. Let's have a look. Age 54. Stabbed at Aberdeen with a knife while journeying in an omnibus. Died during internal hemorrhaging and resulting from trauma. Okay, pretty clean cut. Is there anything we can look at here? Yeah, it seems pretty straightforward. I'm looking. Is there going to be something in the reflection over here that we have to look out for? I'm just like looking at it because I always do this. They always like hide like clues like just off the side. Because I think it was like in the last case, it was like a black and white photo, but it wasn't revealed in later the case that the color was purple. So it's like, oh, it's gonna be this purple ink, right? Shit like that. And one further item of evidence. The prosecution wishes to submit these as well. And these are? Good lord! Is that blood, counsel? Yes, my lord. Seized by a policeman and arrived at the scene. These Gorsa gloves were taken from the hands of the accused when he was arrested. What? Mr. McGillet's gloves had blood on them? Can be anything. Tomato juice, grape juice, turkey juice. Yes, I'll accept these as evidence as well. The defendant's leather gloves have been entered in the court record. How did I get into this? Wait a second, hang on. Blood, right? There is a blood stain on the right glove. I'm already looking into this. But there's no blood on the handle, right? Aha, I'm already thinking one step ahead. I got you already. I'm backed into a corner before I've even started. Continuing. According to the driver of the omnibus, there were only 2 passengers traveling inside the vehicle at the time. Only 2? Obviously, one of these passengers was deceased brickmaker Mr. Mason. And the other was the accused, Magnus McGillet. That's a cool pose, I like that. Yeah, he doesn't go like, he goes. You're like very slowly. Well, rather than damning circumstances to say the least. Defendant, what say you? Well, of course, I have no recollection of such a thing. Mr. McGillet. To be sure, I rode the omnibus that evening. But whenever I'm in a carriage, I'm taken away with a fierce tidiness. I always succumb to it. Yeah, I think I like hearing stories of that. Of people that, you know, when they're in a moving vehicle, they just can't help but to fall asleep. This happens, like, all the time. Are you claiming to have been asleep? 'Tis the motion of the carriage, my lord, lit, and so it is. So when I open my eyes again. 'Twas a desperate sight before me, the body of a man I never laid eyes on before in my life. Yes, we happened to awaken in the carriage that he was in. Interesting. That seems a bit too convenient. Also, one second. Just need to shut up for a second. Whew. Okay. Now I ask you, what good-hearted soul wasn't the rush to help a fella bleeding from his stomach? I wasn't about to start worrying about my gloves, now wasn't I? I reached out to give the man a hand. Oh, okay, so he touched him afterwards bleeding. So that's his story. So the blood got onto the gloves then, after the man had been killed. I see. Unfortunately, that statement of the drivers is only the beginning. What? That's not all of it? There were multiple witnesses to the precise moment on which the brickmaker was fatally stabbed. You mean multiple witnesses? I thought there were only them two on the in the carriage. Order! When the killing took place, only the victim and the accused were inside the carriage, and there were no witnesses to the crime. It is not just a case of compelling evidence. It is the nail in the coffin for the accused. Thank you, counsel. The circumstances of the crime have been made quite clear. I think we can all hear the testimony from these witnesses first of all. Your wish is my command. Bailiff, bring the witness in at once. A bit dramatic. Also, I'm like yawning a little bit. I'm not feeling tired, but still, I don't know, for some perplexing reason. Not too sure why. I need to wake up more. Ugh. Witnesses, your names and occupations. My name is, well, everyone calls me Beppo. I drive an omnibus in the East Land. Bruce Fairplay. I'm a banker in the city. My name's First. Lady First. I make hats for gents. Let's begin by confirming the facts. Also, I think that's a pun name. Lady First. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's like an ongoing theme in the Ace Attorney series when they take the Japanese names and they translate them to English. So they always do like pun names, which are like, you know, supposed to be like, haha, it sounds kind of like this. I think it's in the first game there's a guy that's his name is Mr. Red White and he works for Blue Corp or Blue Corps. That's like red, white, and blue, like America. Get it? 3 days ago, at a short time after 10 o'clock in the evening, all of you present and stand were there in omnibus witness to the aforementioned incidents. Is that correct? Yes, sir. Quite right. Yes, sir. That's right, sir. Also, there's got to be something on the other side of that guy's face. There'll be some sort of evidence. That's why he's like looking at us like, yes, of course. Right. Something he's definitely trying to hide. Very well, then let's proceed to your formal testimonies, please. Each of you will tell the court precisely what you saw. Got to get a testimony for every single one of them. Ugh. What the witness saw. It was the last bus in the evening, so I had very few customers. I remember it well. I don't mind, because I'll play out for all three of them. The victim and the man accused for killing him were sat next to each other inside of the bus. Then out of the blue, the accused just reached over and plunged a knife right in his guts. Okay, so I guess he saw the side of his face is fine. That's right. He stabbed him. I screamed I did. I couldn't help it. I thought there was no witnesses. What the hell? What are you guys playing at? As soon as I heard the scream, I stopped the bus, and then I saw it too. Unambiguous testimony, I must say. Exactly, my lord. These men witnessed the incident in the omnibus with their own eyes. I'd like to ask a question, if I may. Yes, counsel? Well, this testimony makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. Why not? Well, the incident took place inside a moving carriage, didn't it? As it had been clearly stated from the outset, yes. Well, in that case, how could those two witnesses possibly seen what have happened? There's no way they could have seen the inside of a moving carriage. That's where it's like, tut tut tut, you see. How quaint. I'd read the civilization the Eastern Island nations was a good country behind our own. But you're here in London yourself. Are you really so ignorant about omnibuses? Outside the cough. Huh? Tell me, my Nipponese friend, have you even traveled in an omnibus? Well, no. We only arrived in London this morning. No matter. I've arranged for us all to see ourselves the actual scene of the crime, that is. What? What do you mean? The actual scene? How? We're gonna go outside and we're gonna go inside a bus ourselves. Check it out personally. A carriage designed to be moved, after all, presuming you understand that much. Yes. Then the omnibus in which this bloody crimes took place is here today, in this very building. What? In the building? Here? What? The entire carriage? Bailiff, bring forth the stricken omnibus for testimony. Right? Oh, okay. So it's not as big as I thought. I thought it was like a two-decker bus like that. Right. Yeah, so it makes sense if they were right next to each other. If it was just a carriage like this, right? So that's an omnibus. The omnibus. I can't believe they would bring something so enormous in here. Great Britain's courtrooms are amazing. As you can see, the omnibus is pulled by 2 horses and can carry up to 8 passengers. Really? Where? Up to 8? That'd be a bit tight. Oh, okay, up top. 4 passengers seated inside the enclosed cabin and another 4 on the rooftop a deck above. I was gonna say 4 squeezed in the middle. That'd be a bit much. Every Londoner knows that the best views of the city architecture and sights are to be had from the top of an omnibus. Yeah, it'd fucking suck if it was raining though. And should I point to our foreign guests, that there is a skylight in the roof allowing a view of the interior from the seats above. Not convenient. Ah, skylights. Oh. The penny drops at last, I see. These 2 gentlemen were occupying the rooftop seats of the omnibus when the murder took place. That is how they came to witness the grim incident. Through the skylight. That makes perfect sense. What are they doing? Just peeping in through the skylight instead of actually, looking around. That's like riding a bus and you just have your eyes on somebody the whole entire time. I'm watching you. Well, counsel, this is a first. In all my years behind the bench, I never expected the crime scene itself to be brought into the courtroom. There are a number of important clues remaining inside the carriage, my lord. I would like to submit the omnibus itself as evidence. That is the prosecution's wish. Very well, I see no reason why not. This omnibus is hereby formally accepted as evidence. The omnibus has been entered in the court record. I can't believe it, the entire crime scene entered as evidence? Yes, Great Britain is simply extraordinary. I could help myself a lot by giving this omnibus a thorough examination, seeing as if it's here. Oh, can we do that? Can we do it right now? I'm gonna skip one step ahead of the game and do that. No, I don't think I can right now. Is it gonna let? Okay, it's gonna let me inspect. Oh, there's blood. Yeah, you can certainly see inside the carriage throughout this. There is opening, that's for sure. Yes, and there's a lamp in an enclosed cabin, so I'm sure the witnesses could have been able to see quite clearly. That's not good for us. What else we got? Well, let's open the door and go inside, shall we? The scene of a murder, it's horrible. Oh, we can actually go inside? Shit. That blood is soaked into the seat. This victim's obviously... Yes, and that seat would be clearly visible from the roof deck. Yeah, but how come it's on the seat? I think I got stabbed to the chest. So wouldn't the blood be like on that side of the seat, not that side? Would you really stab somebody in full view of the other passengers like that, I wonder? Well, it was after dark. And there was a lamp on in here, so perhaps the culprit couldn't see anything other outside through the skylight. Whichever way you look, it doesn't seem like it was planned. It was a planned attack. Okay, so it was nighttime. I see. It's a poster of a great exhibition that's due to start 6 months from now. There's a lot of focus being drawn to the Crystal Tower as the centerpiece of the whole expedition. Ooh, the Crystal Tower. It's under construction already, I believe. People all over London must be frizzling with excitement at the prospect of such a grand events. Okay, I'm not sure why I spent time looking at that, but alright. Oop. Can't find anything out of place. This seat looks reasonably soft, but it's actually rather hard when you sit on it. And only just wide enough for 2 gentlemen to sit side by side, really. Of course, an English gentlewoman would be dressed in such finery. It would be quite impossible for her to climb up on the roof deck, so she would have to be seated in here. A woman in a kimono would have the same problem. A woman's clothes are very impractical, aren't they? What'd you say? Ah, that's a poster for the great exhibition that's due to start. Okay, same deal. The Crystal Tower. Is that the, that's the Eiffel Tower, right? Was the Eiffel Tower supposed to be called the Crystal Tower at one point? That's interesting. I didn't know that. Huh. Although I don't think they built this fucking thing in like 6 months, so I don't think that's accurate. It's quite a large skylight, isn't it? Yeah, it's quite large to afford a good view into the cabin from the roof deck. And there doesn't appear to be any handle or latch of any description. So I suppose it can't be opened from the inside of the cabin at least. Yeah, it's more or less for looking, I guess, or for the sake of letting light in. What's that? Something on the outside there. Oh, it's on both sides. That's whatever. The access to the cabin, I guess. Anything else? Ooh, drawer. This seat has a handle, it seems. Neat. This looks like all sorts of equipment that might need to keep the omnibus running. Feeding tubs, tools to repair wheels, blankets, horseshoeing tools. So it's a storage compartment for the coachman to keep his things, it seems. There don't seem to be any space for passengers to store their luggage, that's for sure. Well, I don't imagine it'd be very convenient for the purpose anyway. It's like every single time they'd want to like get up and take stuff out. Yeah, that'd probably be pretty impractical. Yeah, so there's only one on that side. Okay. Can I check anything else on there, or is it just gonna be the same? Yeah, same. Alright, that it? Looks like it. There's only one door out of here. No door on the other side. Have you seen enough? Let's step back outside then. Yeah, I've looked at it all. It'd be kind of cool out last year to go in and look around like that. Interesting. Oh, it was this lantern on the outside that I saw from the inside. I see. Got it. Anything else? I can't look at the bottom. It won't allow me to flip it that way. Wait, Phoenix Wright Omnibus? What? Huh? Excuse me? Interesting. Maybe that's a pure coincidence, or maybe that's on purpose. Interesting. Because I'm assuming that Phoenix Wright wouldn't have been even alive at this age, at this time period, right? Yeah, this would be like way too old, so. Huh. Maybe it's like some sort of like. Yeah, Phoenix is his real name, isn't it? Yeah, I don't know. Can't be sure. Oh, let's just look at the skylight, I see. Although I was checking the sign on the side. Never mind. Anything else? Doesn't look like it. Can I look at the seats? So this is the roof deck of the omnibus. Oh, you must have a wonderful view of London streets from up here. So people sit up all the way up here on bitter winter nights and the cold air rushing past them. And they have to pay money to do so? Ugh. Can't imagine how cold it must feel. That just made me think of something horrible. Can you imagine being dragged around the sea in the freezing cold as punishment? Perhaps it is the real price you pay to stay out late. Yeah, it reminds me of what a friend of mine did. I think it was like he had a friend that was staying over on him at his place, and he was like passed out on the couch. And he was like, "Yeah, let's go for a drive." He's like, "Nah, man, I'll just stay here." I think he was like hungover or something, or like drunk. He's like, "Nah, man, let's go for a drive." And he just threw him in the back seat, and he's like laying down. He just rolled down both the windows in the back seat, and it was like blistering cold air, like blasting him. It's like, "This will wake you up." Ladder? No. Can I check the other seats? Okay, same text. Although I'll just double check just in case. Alright. Let us continue with the proceedings then. Your cross-examination counsel. Yeah, unless it lets me inspect it further if I have some more information later on, perhaps. Pray, don't expect this Nipponese stray to understand the intricacies of the British court's cross-examination rights. Sigh. Alright, my first cross-examination in a British court. Focus, Ryanovsky. Focus! Okay, time to poke holes in this testimony. It was the last bus of the evening, so I had a few customers. I remember it well. Alright. The victim and the man accused of killing him were sat next to each other inside the bus. Okay. Then out of the blue, the accused just reached over and plunged a knife into his guts. Okay. That's right, he stabbed him. I screamed I couldn't help it. As soon as I heard the scream, I stopped my boss, and then I saw it too. Wait, how could you see it? Oh yeah, I can press them on their testimony, right? Okay, we'll stop doing that. I was about to start presenting evidence. I forgot I can press their testimony.
Hold it!
Yes, I think it was sometime after 10, wasn't it? Oh yes, sir. That's right, sir. Yes, ever so cold it was, sir. For freezing, in fact. Oh yeah, and I can look at them just in case. Yeah, if someone slips up, someone else knows some information. That's right, I forgot there's this whole mechanic, right? Hmm. And you had 4 passengers on board at the time, is that correct? Yes, that's right, sir. Not traveling in the same parts of the bus, of course, though, no. And there were no other passengers when the incident took place. No one alighted, for example. That's quite right with that, sir. No other passengers like that. None. No one slipping up. Oop.
Excuse me.
Oh, I didn't mean to do that. If I may, Mr. Fairplay, what are you forsaking for now? That last statement appears to have given you a pause for thought. Not really. By the way, you always seem to be looking to the side, or one way or the other. Do you have some affliction? Yeah, I thought I could just advance the text while looking at another person, but you can't do that. Not really. He's not really willing to say anything, it seems. It's none of your business anyhow. The victim and the man accused of killing him was sat next to him inside the bus. Yeah, I'm assuming that maybe he'll... the guy next to him will slip up, and then he'll be like, what? He'll look the other way. So... I reckon that's what will happen. He's like constantly looking that way, so probably if he looks the other way, that'll be like the easy tell, right?
Hold it!
And you saw them through the skylight of the roof of the carriage? That's right, when you sit up on a deck and then windows right there at your feet. There was a lamp on inside, so I had a pretty good view. So they're literally sitting next to each other? Oh, that sucks. I was gonna say, like, how could you see, like, him stabbing him and... Yeah, okay. So you could literally see both of them. I was assuming that one of them would be sitting on the other side of the carriage. So they could be like, ha! Like, stab forward, but I guess he went, ha! But there's not a single shred of doubt in my mind that was Mr. McGillard. How can you be so sure? Well, how can I put it politely? Mr. McGillard is a gentleman or rather small stature. I couldn't have mistaken him for anyone else. Let's not forget that when the vehicle came to a halt, there were only people inside the enclosed cabin. Were the deceased Mr. Mason and Mr. McGillard. Wait, hang on. So there's the trunk, which they store parts, right? And that's on the other side, which they can't see, right? So I'm assuming that whoever actually killed him probably stabbed him, right? And then hid. That's what I'm thinking. Because obviously they wouldn't be able to see them hide if they're both sitting at the side where they could see, like, the two, right? There is no room for doubt here. I really wish there was. Then out of the blue, the accused just reached over and plunged a knife right into his guts.
Hold it!
You actually saw the exact moment it happened? I didn't I already testify to that? Or our fair dinkum hard-working city bankers not considered trustworthy these days? Oh, no, I didn't mean that. This is no good. I really got his back up. Perhaps you could just tell us what you saw in this little more detail, if that's my lord. Junior number 3? Juror number 3? What's the meaning of this? I said I didn't even have names, they're just numbered. My mind is made up, my lord, completely and utterly made up. Made up about what? I don't like the stinking rich, never have. They're always up to something other than they should be, every one of them. And that little leprechaun of a man is no exception. Well, he can't fool me. Oh, he's just literally casting his vote right now. And there's no point in wasting time listening to any more of this. That's my opinion on the matter anyway. No, so it doesn't have to be unanimous in this court, I guess. Just to be the majority. Interesting. That is precisely what I was about to say. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. As the foreman of the jury, it's my duty to set a good example to my fellow jurors. It's barely even started. You guys got to set your votes now. What is happening here? Let me see. Yes, it seems that this is how the members of the jury gives their verdicts. With fire? Apparently, yes. While white for innocent and black for guilty. As the 6 members of the jury make up their minds about the case. One by one, they each cast a ball of fire into a great series of scale, as we saw a moment ago. So if those enormous scales fall completely into the black side, does that mean? Let's do our very best to make sure that doesn't happen. Now I'm even more worried than I was before. Yes, they didn't set their verdict at any point. That sucks. Very well, the court acknowledges that they've changed in the jury stance. Counsel for the defense, please continue with your cross-examination. This is a nightmare. Yes, even if we've got all the evidence out, or before we even got to, like, even, you know, the verdict that'll sway the ruling in one way or the other, they can be like, well, I've made up my mind, I don't need to see anything else. That's right, he stabbed him. I screamed at it. I couldn't help it.
Hold it!
He stabbed him, you say? And you were still sitting up on the roof deck, were you? Yes, that's right. So I was up on the roof seats. I remember seeing the little gent sitting next to the fellow that was stabbed. I'd been thinking about a new hat design, you see, so I was gazing absent-mindedly around. And then I just happened to look down through the skylight. It was sickening, sticking right out of his belly, that huge, great knife. Huh, a grim sight indeed. That didn't help me at all. So you didn't actually see? You just saw the knife? The jury looks like they're even more convinced than my client did that they were before. I like the jury, they're interesting, unique characters. That appears to have made everyone even more dubious that Mr. McGill is telling the truth. If only we had some sort of evidence to counter their suspicions. Mr. First. Oh, yes, sir. Is this the knife that you saw? Oh, good grief, yes, that's it, the very one, sir. Is that... Yes, Counsel, this is the blade that was driven into the victim's belly, that like a stake through the heart. That is the blade of a considerable size, Counsel. It is, and furthermore, the scabbard is emblazoned with prominently with a certain initial. The letter M, which seems oddly familiar. Please, no. M for Magnus, perhaps, or McGillen, possibly. Take your pick. It seems his particular big name in London to make a magnificent mistake. But there are M's everywhere. Like, yes, in Mason.
Objection.
This blade is far too extravagant for the poor brickmaker to have owned. No, this is a weapon for murder, almost certainly belongs to the accused. Ugh. Not conclusive, but certainly compelling, Counsel. The murder weapon has been entered in the court record. My lord, if you'll forgive the interruption. Junior number 2. Go on, a juror. Mr. McGill is a pillar of society and gentleman, and a gentleman's word should be sacrosanct. However, those of us in service know we must accept hard truths. Wait, what are you about to... Dispose of the rubbish. Well, that's 3 out of 6. No. I don't wish to cause offense, but I do like to eradicate all traces of filth and grime. You as well? I have painstakingly typed every word uttered here today and cross-references the facts. As such, I am now in position to draw the only logical conclusion. Oh god. Well, that's literally impossible to win. Not again. I guess it does have to be unanimous then, because otherwise, like, how would I win? That's 4 out of 6 jury members who proposed a guilty verdict. There are only 2 left. We've had it. Every time I press the witness for more information, it just makes the situation worse. Nevertheless, what we need is more than anything at the moment is more information. We're still very much in the dark. I suppose I'll just have to keep pressing the witness, knowing that more sparks may well fly. We mustn't give up hope that undercovers something that will give us a way to fight back. But alright, I'll keep trying. I can't give up. I'll just need to keep calm and listen to the witness's statements again. Yeah, well, here's the last statement, right? Yeah.
Hold it!
What exactly did you see? Oh, well, sir, that would be the passenger, sir. Yes, collapsed on the floor he was. And by the passenger, obviously we're referring to the victim, Mr. Mason, the brickmaker. And then the other passengers had that knife in his hand, like this. A knife in his hands? Really? You saw all this? And the other passenger, obviously you're referring to the accused, Mr. Magnus McGillen. And then the plunges down like this, stabbing the other passenger in the belly. How'd you see all this? What? Order, order! It is hard to believe that one of London's greatest philanthropists, but this is damning indeed. The law knows no philanthropist, my lord, only the innocent and the guilty. Good deeds mean nothing when overshadowed by evil. The truth is everything. I couldn't agree more, sir. The truth! Alright, so when it happened, the only 2 people in the enclosed cabin area that were the victim and the defendant. And, so help me, 3 whole people witnesses the men I'm trying to defend to do the deed. I don't like to be pessimistic, but we do seem to be in a rather difficult situation here. Ugh. What am I supposed to think here? Is Mr. McGillard really innocent? Or could it be... Before we jump to conclusions, our first task should be to gather information. We need to understand the case much better than we do at this moment. Yes, you're absolutely right. Let's listen to those witness statements again, a little more carefully this time. Right, so what I'm thinking is that he couldn't have possibly seen the killing, right? Because he was up front. That's what I'm thinking. Can I examine the knife? Yeah. Ooh, can I rotate? M. Or is it a W? And normally they add letter M, undeniably Mr. Magnus McGillen's initial. And it's beautifully gilded too, it must be very valuable, I would think. Ah, what is it? Look at this M! If you turn it upside down, it becomes a W! This could change everything! Based on what? Like, who has the first... We don't know anybody that's a W. A W? Yes, this is one of those, turnabout cases. I'm sure of it. I'm afraid I don't know it all, but what I'm sure of is that it is an M. Oh, well, that idea was quickly squashed. Yeah, unless that comes up later. That part is the sheath, isn't it? Are you alright, Mr. Naruto? Oh, sorry, yes, I just don't really like blades. Yeah, especially after your best friend was murdered by a sword. Oh, not by a sword, he got his head bashed in, right? Never mind, I don't know what I was thinking. Those don't seem like the words of a man with a large katana slung from his waist. That's not a blade, that's a Kazuma soul. Anyway, there's no sense in delaying it. Let's see what the blade looks like. Oh, it's got blood on it and everything? Fuck. That's not looking good. That looks like a lot of blood. Surely it is blood. The victim's. An Englishman's blood looks like a lot like Japanese man's blood. Did you think it wouldn't? Sorry, it's just that we've only just arrived here in Great Britain, and I'm finding it a little hard to adjust. Yes, I do understand. Okay, anything else? No. That's it. Stab, stab. Okay, we have no clues. Alright, so I'm going to present the carriage itself, because if we look... Yeah, so if he was sitting here, how could have he possibly seen inside? It'd be impossible, right? Yeah. He was like, I saw him get stabbed. It's like, how? Present.
Objection!
There's clearly something odd about the last statement made by the witness. There's clearly something odd here indeed. Your behavior, counsel. Oh, please, don't mind me. That would be significantly easier if you would lower your hands. Okay, never mind. I will lower my hands so I can prove my client's innocence, as long as it's quite quick. Okay, so I might save just in case. Because I don't want to fuck up and lose all my, process. Or progress. Process. Okay, so let's see here. Is there anybody that gives a tell? Oh, wait, never mind. Yeah, if anybody like gives off a clue to be like, we can ask them if somebody else gives off like some sort of warning. And how do I do that again? Oh yeah, I gotta press them right, and then I can go off there. Right. Alright, I guess I can press them again. Sure.
Hold it!
Freezing, in fact. Nobody? Anything? Nope. I was like, skim through this as fast as I can. Yeah, unless there's something on the other side that's gonna react, because I didn't see anybody like that's right next to them react at all, so... No, nothing. Nothing. Oh, is he saying new stuff? I don't know. Oh, he's saying new stuff. Oh, fuck. Okay. Actually, I'm not sure. Have I read this before? Sometimes I do wonder if it's all worthwhile, sorry to say. What do you mean by that? Well, it was just making things so cold, everything. You only make about 20 piece run, you see. I spent that much on the pub on the way home, just trying to warm up again. I just couldn't believe it, sir. Can't believe it. A murder on my own bus. It's too awful to think about. I haven't been able to shake this cold ever since it happened. My lord, I wish to speak. Yes, Junior number 5. I do take it that you too. As the master of the London Guild coachman, the idea of a murder being committed on one of the city's carriages utterly abhorrent to me. It wouldn't be right to make a decision before hearing all the facts, though, I say to myself. But I've heard enough now. The horse has been bolted, as they say. No, please, just keep an open mind. Look. Gee up now, Silver Blaze. Our finish is in sight. Well, it's just the old lady left. Beppo is a long-standing member of the guild, and I trust what the man says. Oh, thank you, sir. You're too kind, sir. This is too unkind, sir. Which now means that 5 jurors agree to contend this man. You're like even paying attention. Lady that's knitting. Madame Juror number 6. Yes, dear. What can I do for you? You have heard the testimonies of the witnesses in the stands. Oh, yes, I certainly have. Still got my hearing, you know. Then pray tell, what are you about to pronounce on your learning? Well, dear, the thing is, I am a creature of habit, me. I always go to the park around this time of day and sit on a nice bench and get on my knitting. There's a lovely little park near where I live. McGilded Park, it's called. So she's a fan of the park, so she's not gonna commit him, maybe. The gentleman donated to the city and know to put a smile on Londoners' faces, he did. I can't imagine such a fine young gentleman would have it in him to take up another man's life. He's always do wonderful things to the city. That's right. A man like that wouldn't stab someone, surely. Mother, maybe go to the McGill Public Library after and borrow some more books? How many Londoners live with their heads in the clouds? Do you people not know? What kind of man this Magnus McGillard really is? What kind of a man is he? The philanthropist Magnus McGillard has enough wealth to purchase an entire city he claims to value so highly. But where did all that wealth come from? Your client is a Shylock, sir, and one with the very darkest of souls. You also notice he also has a sword, so that might come into play later. What? Stone the crows! McGill lends his money through extraordinary rates of interest, so his victims have no hopes of repaying him. When they default, he takes possession of everything they own. He's a vulture that preys on the weak. I've never heard any mention of that before. Your facilities haven't deserted you, I'm sure, ma'am. So has this thought not crossed your mind? Would a man wealthy enough to buy London in its entirety not have a carriage of his own? Oh, yeah. What possible reason could a man to have to make use of a public omnibus service? You're not saying that. The victim, a poor brickmaker, had next to nothing to his name save considerable financial liability. It will come as no surprise that his creditor was the accused, Magnus McGillard. But let it also be known that the very day the mason was killed, the final repayment date for his debts. Good gracious! The brickmaker was destitute. He lost his house. He had nothing, not a shilling with which to repay his debts. And in the end, he's pitifully saw the very last thing he owned taken from him, his life. By the merciless philanthropist pretender, Magnus McGillen. I don't believe it. If I might add something briefly. Yeah, why was he running a public carriage then if he didn't have any money to pay? Miss Sassoto? You claimed the victim had been lent money by Mr. McGillen. But where is the evidence to support your claim? Ah, very good. It's gonna be like, right here. Pray forgive the discovery of filling my hallowed chalice in the court of law. Aha, there it is. Lord Van Zyke's hallowed chalice is a thing. How can it be considered acceptable? But if I find myself in unexpectedly good humor, I had heard ladies from Far East could show great courage, but I didn't expect to experience it myself. Ah, as judicial assistant for defense, I am simply doing my job. What a pity that your display of courage is in vain. This is the debtor's ledger, which details all monies loaned by the accused. You will find the victim's names clearly recorded inside. Oh. Allow me to present this ledger's evidence. And pray forgive this discordy of raising my chalice and toast the enigmatic East at the same time. A marvelous toast, counsel. I will gladly accept this new evidence. The debtor's ledger has been entered in the court record. Ah, yes, 20 guineas. The victim owed a considerable sum. And the accused may quite certainly get ample recompense. Not persuading her too well. Well, it would seem I've had the wool pulled over my eyes. I'm just getting pissed. Regrettably, ma'am, that is the modus operandi. Operandi? I don't even know that word. Of the accused. Someone's been reading the dictionary. Thesaurus.com. And it's all a petty little plot too. What a scoundrel. Oh, pretty. Well, still. Maybe it's all for the best. Wait a minute. Let's think about this a little bit. Don't stand for nonsense. Well, that's it then. So before I begin, we don't get to become a lawyer, and that guy gets killed. That was it. The last juror's decision. According to this encyclopedia of British law, when all members of the jury have concluded that the defendant is guilty, court proceedings are suspended, and the proceeding judge will deliver the final verdict and sentence. That's what it says here. The final verdict. It's over then. Oh. There's a footnote, though. A footnote? However, the defense... All 6 members of the jury are now in agreement in this case. Allow me to convey my respect for your swift and righteous decision. According to the laws of this country, I will now conclude the trial by delivering my final verdict. I trust there are no objections. Mr. Soto, please just tell me one more thing. Oh, yes? You were in the middle of saying something before? The footnote in encyclopedia of British law, however, the defense. What did you say next? Oh, yes, of course. One moment. When all members of the jury concluded that the defendant is guilty, Court proceedings are suspended, and the proceeding judge will deliver the final verdict and sentence. Then the footnote says, however, the defense has the right to demand a summation explanation of the jurors at this point. Summation exclamation.
Objection!
A summation exclamation. From which century has that term you have there been resurrected? Ah. Judging from the binding elements of the book is at least 50 years old. Any modern text on British law wouldn't even give such an equated procedure a mention. It's a relic long forgotten and certainly no longer practiced. So you're out of luck. Oh. What even is it, Miss Sasota? The so-called summation exclamation. Oh, one moment. I'll read about it. You would demand the right to proceed before you even understand what it entails? Typical Nipponese. Alright, Mr. Naruhodo, I think I understand. It seems that under this procedure you'll be able to appeal to the members of the jury. To do what, exactly? Appeal to them to change their learning and reverse the decisions. As it says here that. If successful, the proceedings of the trial must be resumed. Make them reverse the decisions? Yes, in times gone by, barristers will use their summation exclamation to attempt to influence the jury's decision. But the procedure becomes something of a formality with practical benefit really, so it rather fell out of use. I wonder why. Because it was devoid of purpose. Changing one member of the jury's mind would be hard enough, let alone several. No self-respecting defense barrister would even assert his right to try in this day and age. Still, I don't see any mention of the procedure actually being formally revoked. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting that although it may be equated or largely forgotten, it isn't yet extinct. What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? Summation exclamation, our last possible option. Do we assert the right to carry it out or admit defeats? Forget it. The defense wishes to assert its right to summation exclamation, my lord.
Objection!
London is the capital city of the most powerful nation on earth. We have our duty to the world to exemplify the very highest standards of the judicial procedure. Summation exclamations are an embarrassment that should remain buried.
Objection!
But if it's outright, it's outright. I believe that it could prove viable in this trial. The defense's petition is perfectly valid. The court will proceed with the summation exclamation. This is madness. Foreman, are you and the remainder of the jury ready? Yeah? Well, I'm not, There was no mention of this in the letter I received, you see, so... All members of the jury will be asked to explain on what grounds they reached their decision. On what grounds? You must all justify your decisions and explain why you believe the defendant to be guilty. Well, my lord, you're rather putting us on the spot. I guess they used to just being like, fuck it, whatever. But now they're like, oh shit, we actually gotta explain why? Oh god. This is most irregular. No mention of news of this before. Don't really hold this justifying lark. That seems to have thrown the jurors off. It seems none of them have experienced this before. Alright then, the summation exclamation. A defense procedure no practicing lawyer has attempted for years, is it? Well, just maybe. It might be the opportunity they'll be looking for to turn this trial around. So be it then. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the court hereby calls upon you to state the grounds on which you find the defendant, Magnus McGillard, guilty of the most serious crime. Say Judic or something. The juror's contentions. There was no one else in the carriage at the time, so it had to be him. I trust the driver, he was excellent memory, it seems. 4 passengers with fares totaling 20 pence. He stuck the chap next to him just like this. Brazen, I must say. Absolutely brazen. I have simply typed and collected all the statements made thus far and drawn the logical conclusion. You can trust the guild. Fair fares as our motto. We haven't raised the prices above 4 pence for years. The scoundrel stabbing that poor man on the floor, the beggar's belief. I'm starting to wish I hadn't pushed for this now. Yeah, am I able to press them much like I can the other things? Oh, actually, hang on one second. Ugh, wait a minute. Just need to take care of something real quick. There you go, that's better. Yeah, I forgot to shut my bedroom door. Yeah, because the apartments that I live in, they like connect. It's like you can usually hear the person when they're like in the next room. So I usually close my my bedroom door just in case my voice doesn't travel into the opposing bedroom next to it. Yeah, it's like my It's like my neighbor's like trying to sleep and they just hear me like talking to myself for hours. It's like, shut the fuck up. Some of the jurors don't have any wonderfully formed arguments though, do they? Well, let's see what they can do. We need to get these 6 people to change their minds. I'll have to throw everything I can at them and use some very persuasive language. Just a moment, Mr. Naruto. According to my book, that's not quite how it works. Oh? I thought I was going to have to thaw their icy minds with some heartwarming theories. Rhetoric? About the defendant. Unfortunately, once the jurors have decided the defendant guilty, they're unlikely to heed anything the defense says. But then, they've reached their conclusions by their own reasoning, you see. Your plans will sound like excuses. In fact, it will recoil on you. The more you try to persuade them, the more entrenched they may become. And then what on earth am I supposed to do? Oh dear, I'm just citing what I've read about British law, Mr. Naruto. Right, I'm sorry. Do you have any idea how to make this work then? Well, from what I can understand, the key to the procedure is to use the jurors' own words to make your arguments. What do you mean? Well, the 6 members of the jury are randomly selected members of the public. They all appear to be present from a title front, but the truth is, they are complete strangers who just happen to find themselves here in the courtroom together. And that's the way to break them down, you mean? Yes, exactly. We must listen very carefully to what each member of the jury says, and see if we can identify any contradictory statements. If we can, then to contrast the statements, and then pit the corresponding jurors against each other. Yeah, I don't think there's any like jury system here in Australia. Because I remember there was a police station that we went to, I believe it was when we were in high school, and there was like a courtroom type setting, but it was just like, you know, like the older Ace Attorney series. It's like, you know, there was a bunch of seats, and there was like a stand, and just like, you know, a person up above that was supposed to be like the judge, and that was it. So Yeah, I think only in America, or probably the America and UK, I guess, they actually do like juries. So, well, I guess it as well. It depends like how big the case is as well. So, maybe for like small stuff, they don't. For like minor stuff, they wouldn't go as far. But yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know really anything about law, so who knows. I see. So it's contradictions in what two or more jurors can say what they're looking for. In a way, then, this is similar to a regular cross-examination. Oh, yes, I suppose you're right. Find contradictions in their statements and pit the jurors against one another to break them down. Alright, I might be able to pull this off. No, that's not right. I have to pull this off. Yeah, it's like, it's either this or it's a done deal. Can we start the proceedings, counsel? I would ask you to take the stand for this. I'm expecting a clear and concise rebuttal. Yes, my lord. Jury examination. The defense's rebuttal. There was no one else inside the carriage at the time, so it had to be him. I guess I can press. What do I do? What's pit? Oh, I guess I can, be like, hey, you said this, but you said that. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure how this works, but I guess I'll press. Start.
Hold it!
Certainly, the testimonies who heard us suggest the victim and Mr. McGill were alone inside the carriage. Precisely my point. But could there be some other explanation? Something that we haven't considered yet? Such as? Well, perhaps there's something we could all work out together now. Now, listen here. Maybe you don't know how things work around here because you're from a foreign climes. But we're here to form our opinions as individuals, and I have. Oh dear, he doesn't appear to be in the mood to consider an alternative point of view, does he? No, I'm going to have to pit the jurors against one another, like Sasuro-san said. Finding contradictions in these people's assertions is the only way I'm going to succeed. Okay, so do I have to pit first, and then... Okay. So I'm thinking maybe... Yeah, can I pit this old lady against the other guy? Against this guy? Maybe? Alright, let's see. Oh, yeah. And then I select somebody else to pit them against. But will this result in a failure if I fuck it up? Let's find out.
Objection!
Those two statements are completely contradictory. What? Explain, counsel, post haste. Oh dearie me, I was only needing a jumper for my other half. What is all this claptrap, and what does this contradictory even mean, I ask you? We've heard from more than one witness that they allegedly saw the actual movement when the defendant stabbed the victim. Now, out of all curiosity, juror number 3. What? Can't you see that I'm busy here? How would you say the defendant stabbed the victim, or what sort of motion was it? Oh, I see, because he was like this, and she was like that. I see. Interesting. I was trying to do it because they were both pissed off. They were like both making very fast movements. Want to test me, do you? Like this. Stuck the fellow next to him with even getting up. It's like a prime prank instead. That was Mr. Fairplay's testimony, quite true. Now, then, juror number 6. Oh, is that me, is it? What can I do for you, young man? How would you say the defendant stabbed the victim, ma'am? Oh, well, dear, as far as I can understand it. It was like this. He stabbed the poor man after he collapsed on the floor. The coachman said so. Oh, after he fell on the floor. Interesting. Now don't move. Take a look at these two jurors. He stuck the fellow next to him without even getting up. And he stabbed the poor man after he collapsed on the floor? Well, I never there. They're stabbing in totally different directions. Yeah, that one's pretty obvious. What? Bless my stitches. What a muddle. What this tells us is that there's a strong possibility one of the witnesses isn't telling the truth. Oh. But why? Why the dickens would they lie? I don't know that yet, but what I do know is that if the trial ends at this point where I never find out, we may never know the real truth. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, can you really let that happen in all good conscience? Lie as you say? Oh, dearie me. I can't abide by people telling lies. Aha. The scales. I don't believe it. Wait. Now hear this, my fellow jurors. I warn you cannot listen to this man. Look at him in his black suit. He's clearly some devious Eastern sorcerer using magic on us all. If I could use magic, you really think I'd be pulling myself through all this? Answer me this, Doc Jinx. Huh? Me? What exactly is the problem? What if two witnesses have slightly different recollections of the events? What of it? Let's say the Shylock did stab the victim as he was sitting next to him on the omnibus, and this young Gandhi saw him do it. And now let's say the victim collapsed on the floor and then the Shylock stabbed him again. This old lady never saw him do it. Well, what's to say it didn't happen like that, Who are you calling Dandy, sir? Why I should take this knife to you? Who are you calling old? Why I should take this needle to you? Oh, they're ready to kill each other now. But could the foreman or the jury be right? Did the two witnesses see two different moments of the same crime? It's out of the question. Unfortunately, Mr. Foreman. What is it, you dark jinx? Come on, out with it. What you're suggesting is impossible. It's out of the question. Oh my god. What are you talking about, man? And what can you possibly... How can you possibly say that? You don't realize that I'm only doing my job. As foreman of the jury, I have a responsibility to steer everyone in the right direction. So where's your evidence, man? That's what we want to see. I said two witnesses saw two different movements of the same crime. If you say that's out of the question, show me some proof. It looks like I was the only one to convince him is to present something they can't dismiss. Some irrefutable hard evidence. As you wish. What? I'll give you some proof. It's out of the question that two witnesses saw the same moments the same crime was proven by... assuming the omnibus, right? Because they could only see them, right? Plus, there was no second blood stain on the floor, so...
Take that!
This clear piece of evidence, well, Mr. Foreman? Do you know what they say about me, young man? They say I got no powers of persuasion. Oh, I see. I'm sorry to hear that. But no one will be persuading about this. You're even worse than me. Ah, okay, I was wrong. Shit. Two different moments. In other words, the victim was stabbed 2 times. Ah, but we have evidence clearly contradicts that possibility. Allow me another chance. I'd like to present you with one more piece of evidence to consider. Okay, oh, duh, the autopsy report. Obviously. This is the victim's autopsy report. According to what's written in, Mr. Mason was stabbed in the abdomen. Only once. Huh? Only once? It's quite simple. The victim was stabbed precisely one time. Which means these witnesses can't possibly have seen it happen 2 different times. Get there. Alright, I can see defeat. Getting persuaded. Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo, you did it. We can manage to change 2 more jurors' minds. We can force the trial to continue. 2 more, actually. There is something else that's bothering him about a couple of their assertions. That's where you must strike next. So I need to pit 2 more jurors against each other and show there's no contradiction in their assertions. Okay, so I gotta do it again. Interesting. Exactly, you can do it. Well, the scales of justice have shifted, but they still weigh heavily on the side of guilt. Counsel, you have the floor again. Continue with your summon, exclamation. Summation, exclamation. Okay, who else we got? I'm thinking... Yeah, I'm thinking her, and I'm thinking him. Right, and I'll save just in case. Just in case. Okay. Pit you against you.
Objection!
These 2 statements clearly contradict each other. They do? Explain yourself, counsel. Me? Oh dear, what have I said? I swear on Silver's Blaze main and name, I haven't had the first idea of what you're talking about. According to the group testimony that we've heard so far, there were 4 passengers of the omnibus in night in question. And according to the coachman, Mr. Beppo, he took 20 pence in fares. Quite right, I have those precise details typed neatly here in front of me. And the juror number 5 also tells us the following. The fare for the omnibus is always 4 pence. That it is a fair, convenient single piece. It's the way the London carriages should be operated. But that doesn't add up at all. In fact, it leaves a glaring discrepancy in the details, in the facts. Why, man, why? 4 passengers paying 4 pence each. So if you do multiplication... it would be 16 pence. Exactly, as I said, it doesn't add up. The figures are different. By 4 pence, in fact. Or precisely 1 person's fare. 1 person's fare? Yes, in other words, 1 omnibus on the omnibus that line. It's distinctly possible. There was another passenger that we've heard nothing about. Interesting. Yes, if it all adds up, that means there was another person, perhaps. If it all totals up. Good gracious. Yeah, there was definitely another person that was hiding underneath them, right? On the other side that they couldn't see. This can't be right. The coachman and the guild are good, honest men. Once and all, trustworthiness is our watchword. The figures your coachman claims are most certainly do not add up. Your watchword, as good sir, is fallacy. I beg your pardon. Mr. Guildmaster, I think you ought to consider that this trial would end now. The news was surely spread all over London. The news that one of your coachmen tried to hide the fact that nefarious characters ride the omnibus. Alright, then how do I make this so miserable trial doesn't end, Well, according to my book here... You simply launch a ball of fire around the witness's side and set the scales. Hold your horses there, coachman. We're all in agreement. Why do you have to go and... Wait till I get my hands on you, Beppo. This is all very irritating. Begging your pardon, sir. I'm going to do the same. Got him. For the love of Mike, not you as well. A penny can't be the difference between a smile and a tear, after all. I certainly can't put my trust in someone who doesn't follow my exacting stance in financial matters. Oh, really? I, for one, think it's only proper that we hear from the witness again. Wait, that means 4 jurors are now leaning into not guilty. We've done it, Mr. Narhoder. We've won. Well, won for now. What are you playing at, dandy fool? Shut your trap, sir. No one deceives me. We both had a consistent. I said shut your trap. I know a liar when I see one. And if the trap ever just dares to cross my threshold of a shop, I'll take this razor-sharp blade and shave my every lost hair of his head. Oh, he's looking at... Jojo. Please tell me he's a barber. Well, in quite a remarkable turn of events, the defense's summation and exclamation, he flipped the balances of the scales of justice. The jurors now stand 2 for guilty and 4 for not guilty. Accordingly, there are no longer a large enough majority for the jurors for me to adjudicate. So the trial must continue. I hereby ask the defense, prosecution, and witnesses to return to their places. And I call upon you all to continue to persuade the truth. And it's at the end of a chapter. So, Lord Van Zix, continue to substantiate the case for prosecution, if you please. Take this time. Oh, Jesus. Now he's serious. Having savored the rich aroma from the carmine contents of this hallowed chalice. What is a man? But enough talk. How about you? It may seem crass to crush it to dust. Pray, forgive discourtesy. But Lord Van Zix, is it cold in here, or is it just me? As your antiquated tome no doubt says, the prosecution may not speak during a summation exclamation. So I honored a deathly silence, so I listened to the charade. It seems I overestimated the intelligence of the jury. Well, no matter. There is nothing so hard to prove as a self-evident truth, it would seem. No, and why else would we grace the courtroom with our presence after all? So, let us proceed to the next round of battle. Oh, now he's getting his cape off and everything. Now he's serious. He's taking off the weights. He's getting ready to let loose and bring forth the witness once more. Witnesses, I trust you heard the summation exclamation that we have just had to endure. Oh yes, sir, that I did, sir. Of course I heard it. Oh yes, sir, I heard it. You, sir, on the end, the coachman, I believe it's Beppo? Yes, sir, my lord, sir. If it's transparency in your previous testimony. You were attempting to veil the presence of a 5th passenger on your omnibus? You will be found guilty of perjury. You're advised to bear that in mind, sir. Oh, mio Dio. And now you're busted, and you actually gotta tell the truth. Now then, witnesses, I hereby call you out to testify before the court again. Yeah, actually, I think I might call it there. I'm actually not sure if we're close to the end of a chapter or not, but yeah, I think I might call it there regardless, so I might save. Because I am getting a little bit hungry, so yeah, I might call it there, I think. Yeah, so cheers if you're here watching. All good. And I'll be on tomorrow with Metal Gear Solid. Should be finishing that off tomorrow, so yeah, maybe a bit of a longer stream tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see how we go. Yeah, but I should be able to finish that off. So no worries. Until then, I'll catch you later. Is there actually anybody on? I'm not sure. Can we do a zero-man raid? Not really. No, that's alright. Alright. Yeah, so if anything, next time I might do the end of this chapter and then start the new chapter for on the very tail end, so yeah, I'm not sure, but we'll see. Anyway, I'll see you then. Goodbye.